Hey guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. Now in this video, I am going to be showing you how I manage my yield farming portfolio during a market like this. But before we get into it, if you could please hit the like button, subscribe down below if you want to, and turn the notifications on so you don't miss a future video. Make sure to go follow me over on Twitter and take a look at the links in the description. And with that being said, let's jump into it. So how do you manage positions in a market like this when Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other altcoins that you're probably farming are moving a lot each day? You know, Ethereum's up 4% today, and other coins are also up a lot. So how do you manage a portfolio, especially in yield farming, when you're in this sort of market? So that's what I'm going to explain how I'm doing it in this video, but I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and be very careful about what you're investing in crypto and DeFi because it is the riskiest stuff in the world. With that said, let's jump into it. So as you can see here, if we take a look at VFAT, you can see some of my positions are a couple of them are out of range. We've got this WETH and Bitcoin position here that is out of range, and this virtual and WETH position that is also out of range. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rebalance this virtual and WETH position. The reason I'm not changing any of this is because this $200 here was completely a gamble play. So for positions like this that are complete gambles, I don't really care if this goes out of range because it is simply just a gamble play. And now this is currently out of range on the upper side, which means I am converted into Ethereum. So if we go into here, you can see my WETH is all there, and I don't have any virtual at the moment because it is out of range but on the plus side. So let's go ahead and rebalance this. We're going to go ahead and claim this $10, and this is up about 50 bucks since I went into the position. So I don't really care if this LP goes down. So ignore this, but I'm going to go ahead and rebalance this just for the sake of the video anyway. But again, ignore that position because it was a complete gamble play for me. And I don't really care if that goes out of position either way because I'm just going to keep rebalancing it because the fees are super high. Now, of course, it isn't the best way to go ahead and manage it. But it is, it's just sort of a cash flow play for me. I put $200 in there. This thing could go to zero and I don't really care. I'm just kind of testing the cash flow on this. So this is a bit buggy at the moment. So let me go ahead and pause this video and I will get back to you in just a second. So it has calculated the route and we're going to claim ourselves $11 in rewards there. Let's go ahead and do that there. We're going to go ahead and rebalance this position and then we'll talk about this Bitcoin position here. So that has gone ahead and rebalanced. So yeah, we now have 218 in range and that is making $9 a day. Okay, so the next position that we're going to be talking about is this WETH and Bitcoin position. So you can see here, I'm not going to rebalance this right now, by the way. I'm just going to show you what I would do if I was to rebalance it. So what I would do is I would look at the width. You can see it's out of range here. I always wait at least 24 hours before even thinking about rebalancing or any of that. I simply just wait and see what's happening with the market here. Because again, we've got WETH and Bitcoin. So we're predicting this range here is the price of WETH, how many Ethereums per Bitcoin essentially, or the other way around, how many Bitcoins per Ethereum. So what I would probably do here in this position, let's say this was here in 48 hours from now and I want to get this earning again. Well, I would simply just go ahead and move this max price without losing impermanent loss here. I would move this down 1%. So this is in range. You can see my range is here, okay, which is around here maybe. So I'm literally just moving it 1% forward out of where it currently is. And then we'll leave this upside here. So we're not going to lose anything to impermanent loss. In fact, this has actually made money being out of range. But this is what I would do, is just kind of snuggling this position in. If it was out of range on this side, again, I would do the same thing. I would leave this as it is, probably something like 3% or something. And I would move, 3%. And I would move this one down just to kind of snuggle it a tiny bit. Let's say this red line was here, for example. I would just move this up a tiny bit just so it's back in range. So I'm not losing a massive amount in impermanent loss, because if it was out of range this side, then it's obviously all in WETH. So if I snuggle it to this, again, let's just imagine this is the other way around. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm rebalancing it, but it's only buying back a tiny bit more. It's sort of keeping the majority of it in Bitcoin versus ETH. So that way, you can see here, the majority of it would be in Bitcoin, ETH versus Bitcoin. And the only reason I'm doing that is so I'm not losing massively as it goes up. Okay. So I'm hoping that this will probably go back into range mainly on this side, or move more forward this side, sorry. So it will it will just buy back the Bitcoin itself versus me doing a completely massive rebalance of, let's say, keeping it there. Then again, it's going to probably split it more 50-50. And we don't really want that. We don't really want that because, again, you're locking in a huge amount of impermanent loss doing that. Versus if I only put it in range on the left a tiny bit, I'm not losing as much to impermanent loss. Same thing here. If I was to rebalance this now, okay, what I would do is I would probably just leave it probably something like this, only 1% up. So again, it's buying back a tiny bit of Ethereum. Again, the majority of it is in Bitcoin here. So what I would do is, yeah, it's buying back a little bit of Ethereum and keeping the majority of it in Bitcoin. So 2,000 of this would be Bitcoin, 400 would be in Ethereum. So I'm still not locking in that impermanent loss. Now this, of course, is gains because it's out of balance on the Bitcoin side. So I could go ahead and rebalance this now because I'm in profit. So it doesn't really matter to me too much. Okay, in fact, I may go ahead and rebalance this now just for the sake of the video. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave it because this is just a tiny bit out of range. It's like here. So I'm just going to leave it. It may pop back into range. It might not. But I hope that makes sense. So essentially, you're just kind of snuggling it up slightly. So you're only moving one side of it. Whichever way it's out of range, you're only moving it slightly so it's back in range. A tiny, tiny bit. So it's buying back the majority of that, the rest of that asset essentially. So once it eventually starts to move up to the right again, once it goes this way or this way, depending on which way you're out of range, it's dollar cost averaging back into the other asset. So you're not going to be losing out a mass amount of impermanent loss versus if you were to just go ahead and do a completely, auto rebalance, for example, or rebalance it majorly like this, for example, here. So I'm kind of just leaving it. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I hope I haven't butchered that, and I hope that makes sense for you. Now, the APR is slightly down. The main reason for that is because of this ETH and USDC position. I could rebalance this position and make the ranges slightly smaller. So, with something like this and have a higher APR. That's up to you. That's completely up to you. This one is a complete cash flow play. This is just kind of telling me I'm in range from $3,500 to 41. So again, that's completely up to you how you want to play that. Now, what I do with rewards, so as you can see, as you know, I rebalanced this position here. What I would do is I'd come over to Aerodrome and I would simply find the Aero rewards here that I have, which is 6.059. And I'm going to go ahead and swap that. This 204 is for the past just 1 week and like 2 days or something. And then we're just going to go ahead and claim those $14 of rewards here. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and claim our profits from that position, this position here, and our rewards that we had there. And simple as that. That is literally all we do. I'm just going to go ahead and claim these rewards here, or essentially locking in the gains from that position there. And that's it. Simple as that. So that's how I'm managing this portfolio during the bull market. As you can see, we're up to $48 a day. This ETH and USDC APR does change a lot. So yeah, do keep that in mind. If you do have this position, then you'll know what I mean. If you're not, then do keep in mind that this does move a hell of a lot. So just keep that in mind, essentially. This position, again, it goes from around 100 to 400. I've seen this at 1,000% APR, this Bitcoin and ETH pool. But again, that's when Bitcoin is moving like crazy. So everything is kind of doing what it does. Don't just copy these positions. I may jump out a couple of them and kind of put more money into other ones. I haven't decided on what I'm doing with these yet. So don't just go ahead and copy these just because I'm in them, just because other people are in some positions. Don't just copy them. This one's cash flow. I've been in this position for months and months. This ETH and Bitcoin position, I jumped in there because ETH and Bitcoin are moving like crazy right now. and I don't mind holding either one of these if it goes out of range. Right now, I'm holding Bitcoin in this position, and that's completely fine to me. Wheat and Sui, again, I'm farming Sui. I own Sui, and yeah, I like Sui, so that's why I'm farming this. Again, I don't mind if I'm holding either Wheat or Sui. Wheat and Sol, exactly the same situation. And then this virtual Wheat position is just cash flow degen test, if you like. So that's how I'm managing this position. I'm kind of just snuggling these on a rebalance. Again, if I was to rebalance this now, what I would do is I'd pull this max price down just so it's back in range 1% over what it's currently at. And I would leave this as it is, maybe put an additional couple of percent on the other side there so it buys back WETH on the way down. And that's it. Simple as that. Same thing if it was on the other side. What I would do is something like this. We would do something like that if it was on the other side here. So it's just in range on this side, but then we have the potential upside for it to rebalance and buy back the asset on the other way. So you're not locking in a huge amount of impermanent loss. But before I do any of that, I give it 24 hours at least, 24, 48, 72, depending on what the market's doing or where I think it's going before doing anything. But I hope that helps. I know it's a lot of information. If you have any questions, let me know down below. But you're essentially just being smart about your rebalances if you want to earning fees instead of locking in huge impermanent loss. I do not have auto rebalance on. I wouldn't recommend auto rebalance. I also don't have auto harvest on. You can do auto harvest, but there's a big, I think they take like 1 point something percent. So I just harvest myself each week. And yeah, that's it. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.